So good morning, everybody. Big warm welcome to all of you that decided to join us for the live event. Really nice to have your company. And it's also very nice to have the company of Katarina, who I will introduce you to very shortly. I just want to put this conversation that we're going to have into some kind of context, because when I had the idea for Look Fabulous Forever, I think the story is quite well known that I wanted products that worked better on my older face. I was 65. I didn't think that the products that I was buying were very good. And that was the inspiration for starting the business, as much as all the other things that made me want to do it, like hating anti-aging and all that sort of stuff. So I had this absolutely profound belief that the products that were being produced were suitable for younger skin, because that's the vast majority of the beauty market, if you like, the beauty industry market. So I Googled cosmetic manufacturers, came up with a company called Creative Cosmetics, which is located in Ipswich, in Suffolk, near to where I was born and brought up. So it was very convenient for me to go and stay with my brother and then visit the factory and say, am I barking up the wrong tree here? Do people, as they're older, really do they need different formulations? Anyway, fortunately, the two guys who are running the factory, called Alan and Paul, they both said immediately, yes, formulations do need to be different, and we can make those formulations for you. We will make those formulations for you, and the rest is history. So I don't need to go into any of that detail, but they started making the products for me according to the specifications that I had. So I took a load of stuff with me, about 13, 14 different brands that I was using, trial and error. This one works quite well. I quite like this one. This one's good, but it could be better. And they started to create things that work for me. So put the range together and we got going. And then the next development in our business, which is quite exciting, and again, most of you will know this story. About 2 years ago, we had the opportunity, because Alan and Paul both wanted to retire, of actually acquiring the factory. And it made such good business sense for us, because acquiring the means of our production was vital in my view, because I didn't want to have to get it from anywhere else. I didn't want to have to go to abroad to get the products made. Definitely didn't want to have to go to China, which was one of the options. And we managed to pull that deal over the line just over a year ago in June. And one of our newest recruits, or first recruits to that process, when we acquired the factory, was to employ Katarina. And Katarina studied chemistry at university in Slovakia, which is where she's from, but she's been in the UK for 20 years. And she came to us from Liz Earle. So she came with very good bona fides. And we are delighted to say that she's worked with us ever since we took the factory over, and has become a critical and key member of our team. I mean, what she does is incredibly important for us, because she's ensuring that what we make and produce is of top quality, but also she's developing new products all the time. So I hope you'll find this conversation as fascinating as I did when I had it with Katarina recently, just going into the whys and wherefores. I'm going to let Katarina introduce herself to you, tell you a little bit about her background and why she got into formulating makeup in the first place. And then I've got some questions that I want to ask her. Hopefully they'll be the sort of questions that you would like to ask her. So Katarina, over to you. Tell us all about yourself.
So hello everybody again. Oh, thank you so lovely introduction, Tricia. I'm really excited to be here and talk to you about color cosmetics and product development. So I joined Creative Cosmetics just over a year ago. Since I was a child, I was always curious and interested how things work. And I was always making lotions and potions, which was not always to my mom's liking. So it was just a natural to me to study science and learn about chemistry, quality, product development. So I qualified as a product development scientist. And my passion for color cosmetics really started from day one when I graduated. So I joined the beauty industry, which I'm really passionate about. And that's the same passion we share with Look Fabulous Forever. The customer is at the heart of everything we do. And that's why I really enjoy working for Creative Cosmetics, developing new products, but also looking after existing products, just making sure they're always available for our customers.
Thank you very much indeed for that introduction. That gives us a nice overview. I love the fact that your mum was horrified at the presentations that you were developing. Just tell us, I've written it down in large words. I've written down the word carrots. which I think is hilarious. We had this conversation yesterday.
Yes.
And so tell us about your relationship with carrots.
Well, I've got a really loving relationship with carrots. As I said, I always making lotions and potions, and I will always inventing really humble ingredients, using humble ingredients around the house, making the instant, quite cost-effective first innovation. So I used carrots, grated carrots in the muslin cloth, and when you are really careful, it does really work. You just gently dabble it over your face. You need to be, yeah, like I said, careful not to end up like a Oompa Loompa. But it really inspired me in the future when I was working and looking and researching. That's a part of my job, really researching, looking for new ingredients, ideas, concepts. When I was working on the retinol alternative, so I used carrot seed oil, which is beautiful color. When you get a chance to look up for carrot seed oil, it's gorgeous. You know, it's high in carotenoids. You kind of fitted the brief perfectly, and I developed this amazing product, overnight treatment for mature skin.
Okay, so I don't know whether you caught that, but she puts grated carrot into muslin, rubs it over
Yes.
her face in order to give the impression that she's got a tan.
Yeah, apologies, I kind of jumped from the idea straight to the finished results. So
Okay,
yes,
so
so we start with the
it's
idea.
like a self tan, a very cheap self tan. Now, I'd almost caution and say, don't try this at home. You can if you like, but you must be careful not to end up looking like Donald Trump. So I don't know whether you want, well, maybe you want to look like Donald Trump. Who knows? But the basic idea is that the keratin in carrots colors your skin, and it's cheap and it's a very effective formulation. I'm not sure I'm going to try that one. I might stick with what I currently
Please
do.
advise her.
Our bronzer's very good.
Yes, that's why we go and turn into professional makeup. So homemade remedies are really good, but you need to be cautious. That's why we are here, and we've got, you know, brand founders like yourself, Tricia, come up with the ideas and making the idea into reality.
Okay, so we've got the impression that about your job, that you love it because it's about, you know, creating creating great makeup, basically. So let's start with the first and most important question, I think, which is about the formulation of our products. So what makes our products special in terms of their formulation? So tell us a little bit about that, perhaps around some of our bestsellers like the primer, the foundation, brow shape, and so on.
So when I joined, like I said, just over a year ago, I made sure I familiarized myself with all the products in our portfolio and the inspirations behind them. So it's really meaningful when I'm looking and developing something new. I actually understand the story, and the product we are working on has got real purpose and real reasons to believe. So for example, our primer, we really wanted to develop a product making the real difference. So it's not just for smoothing and pumping the skin, but also creating that perfect canvas for your foundation and tinted moisturizer to last longer and also apply more evenly. Another example is, for example, our lipsticks. They are not just great to add your wanting color or pop color and brighten up your appearance, but also they will nourish and moisturize your lips, leaving them nice, soft, and smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. So the performance of the product, I mean, the face primer, funny you should mention that first, because it's our top, so it's always been a bestseller for us. And it was one of the first products that I talked to Alan and Paul about when I first talked to them about the range. And I said, do you have something that I think we need a primer when we're older. I think a primer is essential. And he said, I know exactly what you mean, and I know exactly what you want that primer to do. And he created ours, and we call it feels like smooth like silk, and it's because it just feels so wonderful on the skin. So these kind of things are incredibly important: the look of the product, the smell of the product, the feel of the product, and then of course it's the performance of that product over time. So if people use the primer, they go, oh my goodness, this is incredible, I love it. Tell us a little bit about the brow shape as well. So the sort of the way that this was an idea I had, that it would be
Yeah.
some kind of paint. So how challenging is it to get the brow shape right?
It's really challenging because you are working not just your kind of conventional ingredients, but you are working with lots of different types of colors. So really the creating that perfect shade of color to be able to define and shape your brows is really essential. Also, the applicator is really important. So when we are developing any product, it needs to really work together. So your formulation and packaging, because you can have a really amazing formulation, but if the applicator doesn't work, it's really, it doesn't work. So it's really, really important to think about those things when we start formulating and we start selecting the ingredients, and then obviously working with you, Tricia, and the team, really assessing the formulation and the application. So we are really developing the product which you guys, you really enjoy using.
Absolutely. That's the critical thing. I'm the chief tester of everything. Everything gets sent to me first. I'm the kind of archetypal customer in lots and lots of ways. And if I don't like something, or I immediately feel there's something about it that isn't perfect, or certainly isn't working for me. I mean, I love it when I get something and I go, oh my God, I didn't even know I wanted this, but I wanted it so badly. And that does happen from time to time. Let's come on to testing. So as I said, I'm the tester from the point of view, but this is the end product that I'm testing. I'm not testing it from the point of view of safety or health or anything. So tell us a little bit about how our products are tested. I know this is a really, really important concern for a lot of our customers, because there's a big no-no, certainly in this country, around animal testing. So how do we make sure that products that we send out are safe and comply and conform and stuff? Tell us about that.
So that's a great example. I think sometimes we just see the end product, but we don't actually see what goes into the product development. So when we are formulating products for Look Fabulous Forever, we always focus and select the ingredients which are high quality and performance. So we are ensuring the products are safe, they are effective, they are traceable, and they really fit for purpose. So when we are, again, reviewing the information, we make sure the ingredients are compliant with Cruelty Free International, which is the Leaping Bunny logo you will see and recognize on the packaging. So we comply with the really strict standards. Also, all other formulation and ingredients are suitable for vegetarian, for all skin types. So again, it's really assessing the performance, the functionality, safety. Every single product, the end product, will be independently safety assessed to ensure, again, it's safe and suitable to use and be on the market.
So tell us a little bit more about the process for doing that. Is there an external regime that you have to use as a cosmetic manufacturer? So tell us a little bit about how it's regulated.
So you start with your identifying your consumer needs, then you develop the concept, then we research the ingredients, we develop the formulation, then we also make sure that all ingredients are compliant with various regulations, because each market's got a slightly different variations. So EU market and US market, there will be differences in terms of, for example, different regulations in terms of use of the colors. Some colorants, especially when we are working with the color cosmetics, are banned in some markets. Then we check the animal testing compliance, ensuring that we monitor regularly our supply chain, that animal testing is not happening. Also, when we do use ingredients, for example, like a beeswax, because we select it for its specific benefits and performance, or ensuring the stability of the product, that it's going to last as long as we say it's going to last, that we make sure that ingredients is sustainably sourced, there is no harm to the animal obtaining the ingredient, and it's from a responsible source. So again, externally, we assess each ingredient. So for example, I will prepare and create a formulation. We will submit that to the independent toxicologist, and he will review in more depth in terms of the safety of the ingredients. Obviously, when we are testing some of the products, we ask the customers and external clients for the feedback, and then we produce the product on our manufacturing side. Again, from that step, all products needs to comply with really strict quality standards, and then product is released to the warehouse, and from that warehouse is distributed to customer hands.
Yeah, so it's a very complicated, quite a long process, and also it's got a lot of sort of requirements and regulation built in order that the product that gets delivered into our customers' hands is high quality, but it's also very safe, and also that it's been tested in a way that makes sure that sustainability, all that kind of thing. Also, what you're interesting, because we also produce products that get sent to the USA, and the USA has different, the FDA there, the Food and Drug Administration there, has different rules and regulations to Europe. So if we're selling into the USA, we sometimes have to use slightly different ingredients, and or we can't sell something into the USA. So for instance, SPF 50, which is a skincare product that we have, we cannot sell that into the USA with an SPF 50 denomination on it. So therefore, it's forbidden by their market. So all of that is fantastic. I mean, it's so complicated, but it's something that we obviously do. We obviously comply, and it's obviously incredibly important for us to do that, and also for our customers. I think we've done that. The next question was really about suitable for all types. So I think you mentioned that. So we say that our makeup is suitable for all types of skin. So all skin types, and also vegan compliant where possible. So I don't know if you want to add anything about that.
I think when we are talking about our own skin types, we all recognize there is a oilier skin, there is a drier skin, there is a normal skin. But obviously, when we are developing the products, our market is really targeting the mature skin, which covers all of those really types of skin. I'm not going to go into conditions because that's a slightly different topic. But in general, we are trying to tailor the products that are going to be suitable for everybody. So when you are selecting the ingredients, as we know, the products are quite complex. There is a blend of emollients, waxes. So when we are developing the product, we are ensuring that it's not going to sit on the skin. It's not going to make skin, if it's just oilier, or if it's the skin dry, it's not going to make drier. So it's really that kind of perfect balance and harmony between the ingredients, so they are performing as they should. So it's a lot of testing, trialing, lots of errors, but we are always once we've got the purpose and the concept nailed down, then it's easier for us as formulators to actually deliver the results the consumers are really looking for.
Yeah, and just give us an idea of the kind of steps that you have to go through to develop a new product, and how long does it take? How long can that process take?
Yeah, on average, it can take between 18 to 24 months when we are talking about new product development. So we are introducing either new format or new concept. If it's just introduction of new shades, obviously that process, it doesn't take as long. Well, again, depends, how easily those shades are scalable. But yet, in general, it will be 18 to 24 months. You start with the concept, and obviously it's really important that concept and the idea we research, and you've got some backup. That's actually what customers really want, and that's really important. It's about really delivering the right product we would like the consumers to use, and they are missing. Especially when you've got a wider range, there is always that question: what's next? Where is the gap? But we listen to the customer voice. So from my perspective, it's really important to understanding the reason, the purpose to believe. That's when we start developing the technologies we can deliver certain claims, certain benefits. Then you research the ingredients, and then you start putting all those ingredients and the ideas together. So that's where is the kind of most exciting part of my job. I love working in the lab. I love creating different formats, different textures, working with different colors, and then again delivering the color cosmetics as a whole, because it's not just about what's in the product, but also how it's going to sit. Because with the color cosmetics, you are really delivering those instant results. So you instantly see, that boost of confidence if the product works. But that's the magic of color cosmetics. So you don't have to wait 4 weeks to see the transformative results.
Do you know what? You've just nailed exactly why I wanted to do makeup rather than skincare when I launched Look Fabulous Forever. It's because it's a sort of like in 10 to 15 minutes, you can take a face without makeup. And then 10 to 15 minutes later, you can see that face with makeup, and the transformation between the two is sometimes absolutely phenomenal. I don't know any of the people watching this have seen my latest blog, which went out on Sunday, and we did a makeover on two people that I know, in fact, who go to the bridge club that I go to, called Annie and Julie. And Annie's makeover in particular, she's in her early 70s, and without makeup, she looked a lot like I do without makeup, I have to say, quite pale, lacking in color, with quite, she had without makeup quite dark patches under here, just like I do. And then Sally did the makeover on her, and the transformation was breathtaking, really. I mean, do go to my blog and have a look at the pictures, because she just looks so, well, beautiful, but polished and sophisticated and elegant. And it's amazing how a good makeup can turn you from looking. She looked quite tired. She looked she looked in need of kind of an energy boost almost. And with the makeup on, all of that has been achieved. So what you're doing, Katarina, is incredibly important, because you're the integral part of that, creating these products that have this amazing impact. And it's just brilliant to see, I think. And I mean, I do it every day. I put my makeup on every day. I've done it this morning. And I rejoice every day that I can sit in front of my mirror and have the effect that I have. And that's all down to people like you who've worked so hard to make the makeup as good as it is. And how do you keep yourself up to date with everything that you need to know? Because it's chemistry, so there must be developments and things happening all the time. So how do you do that?
So I regularly keep in touch with other industry experts. I visit international and national trade shows where raw material suppliers share their latest innovation. So for example, this year I visited Cosmoprof Bologna, which I believe is one of the biggest shows. It's absolutely incredibly big. I don't want to say massive, but yeah, it kind of covers from contract manufacturers, ingredient suppliers, packaging component suppliers, and specialty development as well. But yeah, it's global. So you get to see really interesting innovation and breakthrough technologies, from example, from Korea, because that's a really different, the sector of the beauty is really complex, really complicated, but fascinating. Then you meet with lots of European partners. I also attend cosmetic science webinars. I pop to the stores. I still love going and seeing I Love Liberties. Whenever I can, I always go there. And because you can see things on screens, but if you don't touch it, you don't really kind of know what people are really getting excited about. And I do read, and I just love to learn from lots of different sources. As you mentioned, the regulatory compliances are constantly changing. We've been losing quite a lot of ingredients because of the bad publicity. So for us as scientists and chemists, it's really important to also stand still and strong and try to defend use of ingredients within the industry, because the ingredients we use, they are really safe, they are regulated, and they are compliant, because without them we are not going to be able to deliver the beautiful products we are currently making for the customers now. So so it's a day-to-day, and obviously then special occasions when I've got the opportunity to attend more specialist events.
Yeah, I mean, that's all very absolutely fascinating. I mean, there's lots of ways in which you can get the latest information and stuff. Interesting you say about bad publicity. That makes me quite cross sometimes, because you'll get some journalist in a newspaper pick something up, and they write some kind of column which is ill-informed, not accurate. I mean, it's a conspiracy theory type thing. We all know what conspiracy theories are. They put it out there as fact, as truth, and so on and so forth. It isn't. It's a rumor, or it's misinformation or disinformation. They've done it malevolently. And suddenly people are saying, oh, well, if this product's got that in it, it must be very, it must give me cancer, or it must, whatever, none of which is true. And then I have sometimes in the last 11 years since I started Lip Fabrics, I've sort of had to defend certain ingredients that we've got. And it's like, look, we aren't allowed to use ingredients that are unsafe. It's regulated. It's very, very closely monitored and so on, which, as I said, makes me furious in a way that that these stories can get out. And it's, you know, they're just not true. It's false information, and you have to combat it somehow. The interesting thing you said there about, you know, keeping up to date, having a look at what other products are available. When I started Look Fabrics Forever, I had this thing about we wouldn't be a fashion-led beauty business, which sounds counterintuitive in lots of ways. But what I mean by that is that in the youth market, there is a great desire for novelty. There's a great desire for the latest thing, you know, whether it's really thick eyebrows or it's very contoured skin, you know, with bright highlighters and, you know, shading here so that you've got no chin, you know, your chin disappears or whatever. And it's fine. I mean, if you're 18, 19, 20, if you're young, you do want the latest thing. That's it. You want to be fashionable. You want to look, you know. And I think that we more mature women, we aren't quite so vulnerable or what's the word? I suppose I can't think of the word, but we've got more sense in the sense that we know that there's, you know, there's what suits us. So my thing with Look Fabrics Forever for me was that it wouldn't be fashion led in the sense that we wouldn't be chasing off after the latest look, and I would keep having within the range things that people loved, they'd got used to, and they wanted to see and be able to buy again. So they wouldn't suddenly discover that their favorite lipstick had been discontinued. You know, it's like, oh my God, that's my favorite lipstick, it's been discontinued. So I've tried to do two things. One is to keep an eye on those things that are staples in people's makeup bag and they want them to always be there. But at the same time, we can't close our eyes to or close off from the idea that there is novelty, there is newness, there is new developments. And actually, sometimes we have to open our eyes to that. I'm going to come to that shortly. I'm going to ask you about a couple of new products that you are developing. But just before I do that, what role does customer feedback play for you, Katarina? Because we do a lot of customer research. And how does that help to shape those new developments that we are creating within the business?
Well, customer feedback and customer insights is one of the most important parts of not just my job as a scientist, but in general, any brand owners or founders, because as much, you know, it's, you know, that's the central, that's, you know, anything we do, it's for the customers, because we want eventually, you know, meet their needs and what they are missing to give them that, like I said, boost of confidence. So it's really, really important. And we listen to customer voice as well. That's another, you know, important part of and you know, we exchange the insights, you know, conduct the surveys, and there is always this section, what the customers you would like to introduce or you would like to improve from that already products we've got currently. You know, it could be either application or the viscosity. So yeah, it's really important. It's it's the most important, really, the part of a product development.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got better and better and better within the business. I mean, when I launched at Fabrics, I did no customer research whatsoever. You know, I just thought there must be other women like me. There were, fortunately, there were. I didn't have any money to do customer research. I wouldn't have known how to go about it. But now we've got a massive bank of customers. We get a great response whenever we send out research questionnaires. Thank you to anybody on here who ever filled one of those in. We take them incredibly seriously, and we do look at them. And it's like, what can they tell us? I will tell you something that is happening. It's not directly to do with what Katarina does, but we are about to introduce by the end of the year, I can't promise a date, refillable compacts. So we're going the route of having, they're very nice, they're very good quality compacts that should last forever. They should, and then we're going to have little, I can't remember, there's a name for that. Is it Go Days?
Go Day, yeah. So it's like a
Go
pan.
Days.
Yes.
Yeah, a little pan. So you're going to be able to buy refillable eyeshadows, blushers, the things that go into the compacts. So we're going to have big compacts, small compacts. And I'm really, really excited about this. It's taken us an incredibly long time to source. And also, you know, you have to carry very, very high stocks of things when you buy them, like thousands and thousands. And we can't afford to throw them away, nor would we want to, because, you know, why would you throw them away? To use them up. So we're gradually winding down our stock of our existing compacts, and we will replace those with refillable ones, which is good on every level. I mean, for a start, they'll be more durable, but they will also, of course, be ecologically much more friendly, sustainable, which is what we want. And just more or less my final question to you, before I come to any questions that anybody watching this wants to ask. I think there is certainly one I've seen down there. Just tell us a little bit about new stuff that you are currently working on that we will be introducing into the range. So tell us about that.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's the most exciting part, really, just kind of the all new and shiny things. So, but they can be also challenging, like you said, you know, because we are listening to the customer voice. We also get inspired by the trends. So really trying to tailor them to our customer, what they're after, and you know, giving that a little bit of luxury. So we've been working on lip oils, which is really buzzy at the moment, but really wanted to make them true to what we believe is the right product. So what is the lip oil? So it's going to be a balm, gloss, and nourishment in one, because we believe in the simplicity and multitasking products. I've got quite a few. I can just show you just like a little teaser, but it's still in the development. So it's going to be really balmy, non-sticky, nourishing product infused with botanical oils, also with hyaluronic acid, with a hint of color. So again, it's really, so it's different to a balm, which we do have in the stick. It's different to gloss or the lip shine. So it's going to be the hybrid that is really trendy at the moment, you know, kind of bringing the color cosmetic aligned with some of the skincare benefits and skincare ingredients. Another exciting product we've been working on is the brow gel mascara. As much we know how much you love the brow shape, this is slightly different concept. So it's not replacing it. It's really kind of adding something extra to tame your brows, it's to tinge your brows, it's to groom the brows, and perhaps create slightly bolder look. But again, you can tailor it, you can use them together. So that's really exciting. But at the moment, still in development, we are having lots of backwards and forwards, especially with the brow gel, because we wanted to get a formulation right for the right component. Also, the component is slightly different, so it's like a small mascara brush. So yeah, so it's been really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to getting your feedback once they hit the market.
Yes, and they'll be sent to me to test first. I have tested one of the brow gels. We sent it back to you and said, no, not quite right yet. So this back and forth does happen. And, you know, Katarina has to listen and she has to respond, because I'm the customer. It's like if I'm sending this back and saying, not sure. So, and it's what it is. It's a small, like spoolie brush, like a little mascara wand, very tiny, very small. And the idea is that you can stroke it onto your brow hair, and that gel, it sort of sets it, but it slightly colors it, so that you've got a sort of a shaping and you've got a refining tool basically for your brows. It obviously doesn't work if you haven't got any brows, when you will need the brow shape, and you could perhaps use them both together to create, you know, to create the perfect effect. But we like the idea because there are women who still have really good brows, and actually it's a product for them to you know, just make your brows look fantastic. And the lip oil, just picking up on that, you know, just what Katarina said, not sticky, not in a formula that, so it looks a little bit like lipstick, but it's very, very good for your lips. So it's actually giving your lips the emollient, moisturizing, hyaluronic acid, all really, really good, slightly plumping, all that stuff, really good for your lips and will look gorgeous and quite natural. For those women, I mean, you know, I bang on about lipstick all the time because I love it. And I like bold lipsticks as well, but not every woman does. Wonder why. fine, you know, I have to accept that not everybody is like me. So a lip oil, a really exciting development, and again, we're working on that to get some great colours and also to get the formulation right. And that's what Katarina is doing, which is what she's told you about. So that's absolutely brilliant. Let's go to questions. So Amelia, you tell us the question you've got there.
So, sorry, Bonnie said, are the ingredients sourced solely in the UK and Europe or worldwide?
We source ingredient. It's a global sourcing platform, so it will depends on the supply base. So yeah, so we select the ingredients. Yeah, it's a variation between the UK suppliers, European, and also the rest of the world.
Yeah, so it's wherever we can get them from, really, isn't it? Yeah. So it's and that can sometimes hold up production, can't it? Because we have to wait. These things have to be brought to Ipswich, and sometimes that can create complications and problems. So we're expecting something that we can launch then, and it gets pushed back because it's stuck on a boat outside Felixstowe, a ship outside Felixstowe. Believe me, or that happens. So it's got all sorts of challenges in it, manufacturing product, which we've just discovered because we bought the factory. But hey, it's it works most of the time. Any other questions there, Amelia?
We've got one from Esme. She said she's allergic to coal. Do you provide a list of ingredients?
Yes, so that's a legal requirement. So ingredient listing is always going to be on you. You find it on the back of pack, or it's going to be a pill and read label. So it will navigate you where to find an ingredient list. And yes, we will list all the ingredients present in the product. And if you do have a known allergy, that's where you can find the information. And if you do have any further concern, we will always advise to discuss with your practitioner.
Yeah, so if you go onto the website, ingredients are listed on every product on the website as well. So if you can't notice, they're very small. The list of ingredients on the product that we actually sent out, which I think is a legal requirement, they're printed on there. But if you find them difficult to read, just go onto the website, look on the product, and then click on ingredients, and you can read them there, and it's much easier to read. Any others?
We've got two more. So Sylvia said, is it possible to visit the factory and see it in action?
Well, the thing is, it's a working factory. It's not a venue, it's not like Alton Towers, which is a strange thing to say, and I'm sure that we would get interest if we sort of put on a factory tour. But we have to, it's an interesting question, let's put it that way. But it's we may or may not have response to that, and we would be limited to how many people we could have in at any given time. It's not that we're trying to hide anything from you, but I tell you what we are going to do. And I'm not sure when. I don't think we've actually got it in the diary at the moment. But my intention is to go to the factory and make a video, and I want to interview people in the factory. It's a small factory. It's not massive. It's not like Greg Wallace when he goes to see. I watched one recently where he was at Farrow and Ball, and they were mixing paint. Well, it's not like that. It's not as big as that. We're not as big as Farrow and Ball yet. So it's quite small, but there are some key personnel there. So the factory manager, the people who are on the lines, and it's remarkably. Some of it is remarkably hands-on, like sticking labels on and everything. You'd expect it all to be automated and there to be robots everywhere and all that kind of thing. It's actually not quite that high tech, remarkably, but we have some brilliant people there who work there, and I want you to meet them, and we'll obviously talk to Katarina again, because it's fun. And I mean, the day that we took the factory over, which was a year ago last June, we had a sort of celebration. We had some champagne, and it was a big sort of moment for us all to say, wow, we're all in this together now. Look Fabulous Forever and the factory, and because the factory makes for other brands. We don't just make for Look Fabulous Forever. We've got various other brands that are made there. We make. I think I'm allowed to tell you that we make all the nail varnish for Next. So it's big nail varnish production for Next, the business. So yeah, it's a factory that makes for lots of different firms. So I think the answer to you is I think it's unlikely that we'll have factory tours. But I will make a video and we'll put it out and you'll be able to see in great detail what it's like, you know, what happens, what people work there, the kind of jobs that they do, and you know, the way it's all organized. And it's fun. We've got one of the few lipstick making machines in the UK, claim to fame. I'm very proud of that. I love the idea that we've got one of the few lipstick machine making. And it's brilliant to watch lipstick being made, you know, being push the bullets being formed and pushed into the thing. That is automated. That's not done by hand.
No.
It's a machine. Okay, there's one other question then, Amelia.
Said, are the products and packaging labelled vegan/vegetarian?
I don't believe we put a claim suitable for vegetarian or vegan on the label.
No, that's because there are a couple of there's a beeswax thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
Where is the beeswax found? Which products are the beeswax found in?
There's few, there will be a lipstick, concealer, but again, like I mentioned before, when we are reviewing the product brief, there is always the aspiration. We will go vegan where possible, but we need to use the ingredient for stability or performance of the product. We will ensure that the ingredient is suitable and we know where is it from. But you can identify, really, that's why you've got an ingredient listing. You can really look what do you know prefer, because everybody's got a different preferences and reasons why they are looking for suitable for vegan or vegetarian, but it's accessible. You can make your own choice.
Yeah, so most of our products are fine for vegetarians and vegans. One or two are not, and it's like identifying the ones that you might want to, if you're very strict vegan, you probably want to avoid. But I'm assuming that beeswax, no bees are harmed in the
No. Yes,
it's not cruel to the bees.
Yeah, no. When we use the animal-derived ingredients, that's how they are classified. We use them from the sources if they don't cause any harm to the animal. So the bees are still happily living and buzzing around when we harvest the beeswax or our supplies. Yeah,
using their wax for us to use in
Yes.
our in the ways that we need to use them.
Because it's amazing material and it's been used for centuries. So there is a good supply chain we work with. So we are comfortable of using it.
Yes, absolutely. I think what you just said there, being used for centuries, that's a very, very fascinating subject, the history of makeup, how it's developed over time, and also how it's got safer and safer and safer, because in the Elizabethan times, I think I'm right in saying that people died of lead poisoning because a lot of makeup that was applied to the face had lead in it. Presumably that would be some kind of ways to make it stick on the face or whatever. And of course it poisoned people and people died.
And also some of the pigments are could be potentially, contaminated by heavy metals, but that's why, we do work with a high quality ingredients where there are not any traces of those,
Yeah, and that's what needs to reassure us, because we've moved on a lot from the 16th century, the Elizabethan time, and we now have products that we know are safe, they're tested, they are not going to do us any harm, and are beautiful, and that's the most important thing. They're beautiful, they make us feel beautiful, look beautiful, and it's all down to you, Katarina. You are.
I try my best, but it's a team effort. So we work really cross-functionally. So it's an internal, external partners. So yeah, it's a true collaboration, and that's why I love being in this industry.
Yeah, good.
Forever.
Fantastic. Really, really fantastic. Thank you so much, Katarina. I hope you enjoyed that, everybody. I certainly did. I love finding out all about that. As I said at the beginning, it was one of those things that I felt very passionately about, that I wanted formulations that actually worked because I was older and I needed something better and different. I do think that had the products that we produced were, way back in the day with Creative Cosmetics at the beginning of the journey that I've had with Look Fabulous Forever, if the products hadn't been qualitatively different from what people were buying in the shops, we wouldn't have a business. We, didn't say what it said, do what it said on the tin, we wouldn't have a business, because people would have bought them and thought, well, this is no different from what I can buy in the shop, so why would I bother to buy this? But because it is better, because the primers do work in the way that we say they will, because the foundation is formulated in the way that it is and it looks great, people come back to us, and we've got this amazing customer base now who absolutely love what we do. So thank you again, Katarina. Thank you to everybody for coming, and bye-bye. Goodbye.